Hello again, and for the last time on Dfpkt, I'm Peter Holmes, and this is Dfpkt Pod 5, which is as short as the previous one, mercifully for all of us. So, Dfpkt Pod 5, Chapter 11, Foundationalism. When it comes to what we call knowledge, we want to be sure that what we believe is or was the case is or was indeed the case. And trying to define knowledge, what it is and where it comes from, we've often used the metaphor of a foundation, something that grounds what we know or at least claim to know. And the main candidates for the foundation of knowledge have been what we call experience, variously defined, and what we call reason, again variously defined. So I'm sure you're familiar with the two, as it were, great epistemological theories, empiricism and rationalism. But to repeat, there is no reason to believe the abstract noun knowledge is the name of a thing that, of some kind, that therefore needs a foundation. Metaphors have their uses, but they can lead us astray. For example, if we think of what we call knowledge as a building, we can fool ourselves into looking for its foundation, arguing over what it is or concluding that it does not have one, so that knowledge is not what we think or say it is. Or to avoid the argument, we can change the metaphor. Perhaps knowledge is better thought of as a web, with unchallengeable certainties at the centre and expendables at the periphery. I'm referring there, just as an aside, to the work of W.V.O. Quine, the philosopher, which you may be familiar with. Or perhaps knowledge rests on true propositions, JTB, or properly basic beliefs, it's another philosophical idea. Or perhaps all we can hope for is a constructed coherence, sometimes called coherentism this, because foundationalism is a mistake. And so on, down the rabbit hole where metaphysicians furcle, metaphorically. Like the expressions abstract noun and true belief, the expression certain knowledge is a misattribution because, like doubt, certainty is a state of mind, not a property of what we call knowledge. And a metaphysical delusion about the nature of knowledge underlines both epistemological foundationalism and its rejection, which really manifest our longing for certainty and our uncertainty. Like descriptions, explanations are contextual and conventional, and like descriptions, explanations come to an end. The fear of circularity or infinite regress is related to the fear that absolute truth or a perfect description is impossible. And behind these fears is the fantasy that a description could shake off its nature and meld with the described, become one with it. The fantasy of the saying that says it all. Chapter 12, and this is the conclusion, for which relief much thanks. I began by pointing out the methodological need to distinguish between three things: features of reality, things we believe and know about them, and things we say about them. And I've tried to show why muddling those three things up is a mistake, particularly when we mistake what we know and say about things for the way things are. Trouble is, when we talk about anything, including reality, what we believe and know and what we say, we have to use language, so glaringly obvious fact that we can forget it. When we do philosophy, we cannot use language to get beyond language, but we can fool ourselves into thinking that we can. Ordinarily, language is not usually in the way, something we feel the need to get beyond. Philosophical pastimes such as logical or conceptual analysis, theorizing about knowledge and truth and metaphysics, while entertaining for some of us, have no bearing on the everyday practical use of language in different contexts. And just to break off there, this is why civilians don't care about philosophy. It's why philosophy doesn't touch ordinary people's thinking most of the time about everything they do and think. What we call facts, in the sense of true factual assertions, constitute the objective knowledge we express using language. But those facts are nothing more than linguistic expressions. So, to risk a metaphor, we build and repair this knowledge with materials of our own making. Its foundation is in, and its coherence comes from the consistency of, our linguistic practices. But that does not mean the edifice must be shaky. And I think this was the later Wittgenstein's profound and hard-won insight. His earlier picture theory of meaning in Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus is an example of the delusion of identity between factual assertions and the things they assert. But later he recognised the mistake and set about painstakingly undoing it by showing that the meaning of words is in the multifarious ways we use them and nowhere else. So that's it. Thank you for watching and or listening. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you'd like to add some comments on the YouTube site, I'll be very grateful, and I'll do my best to respond to them. But bye-bye.